Hi guys. I've been trying to come back to you guys, but obviously things have been chaotic and screwed up in my life for a long time now. But right now is extra scary and very familiar. And while I'm very scared for myself and my kids, I'm scared for humanity as a whole right now in the United States. And so it felt very important that I talk to some of you who have followed me for a while. I'm going to try to keep this as non-political or anything as possible, for a lot of reasons, including some of the ones I just talked about. So in 2008, I was engaged to a man from Guyana, South America. I did not know that he was not a citizen of the U.S. I'm gonna be real with you, I didn't really care. We were gonna get married in Christmas, at Christmas in New York. In December, there was a knock on my parents' door. We were living with my parents. And it was ICE. And that kicked off a very scary period in my life. So the door rings. There are two uniformed ICE agents at the door. My fiance at the time had gone to let the golden retriever out the back door, and they asked if he was there. And I said he just wanted to let the dog out the back door because I'm honest. It's super hard for me to not be honest, actually. And as soon as they laid eyes on him behind me, they pushed me out of the way. They took away my cell phone, although it wouldn't have mattered if they had the lines jammed. They didn't turn on for like a half hour after they left. They cuffed my fiance. And they told me nothing. They gave me no information. In fact, all the information they did give me, they lied about every single thing they told me. They told me he would be sent to Guyana immediately. So I flew to New York to stay with his parents, whom I had met once. I think. I might not have ever met them yet. I can't remember anymore at this point. Again, very dramatic. Sorry, someone tried to pull out in front of me in the parking lot. I flew to New York to stay with his parents, who were strangers to me. And they kindly fed and housed me. I'll be right back. I gotta run in and get some food. I got the stuff for a stir fry. And a lot of the items were free. From my job. They're doing this Champion's Choice thing. And it was still $111. Scary times. It's on my phone screen. So ICE agents pushed past me. I wasn't allowed to call anyone. They said that my fiance would be deported immediately. Remember how I said it was December, right before Christmas? Apparently immediately meant March. So I lived in Queens, New York for 3 months. That's an experience, let me tell you. Like, they don't trust you to leave the store with the carts in New York City. And the subway wasn't my favorite. I can't understand the announcements on subways at all. They rounded up over 100 people the same day they took him. And They took everybody from northern Michigan down to Battle Creek. There were signs when I went to visit him, because it was about a week before my flight. So I visited him at the facility in Battle Creek. There's a glass window separating us. We had to use phones to talk through the glass window. Actually, no, it wasn't phones. It was literally like a speaker through the glass. And there were signs on the glass like, tuberculosis is rampant in this facility. We're not responsible if you die of tuberculosis, basically. It was very scary because they, even at that time in 2008, had lost people. People go in, but they don't come out. And I've been threatened during an interrogation at JFK. International Airport. They told me that they knew my marriage was fake and that I was going to go to prison for 10 years and have to pay $10,000 and a bunch of other things. Obviously my marriage wasn't fake, but and this was after the initial trip there. This was when I came back to file the paperwork. I landed at JFK. I went to get my connecting flight to Traverse City, Michigan. And I was interrogated by ICE because I was a single white female traveling alone. Threatened. So then I was crying because they just threatened me. And even though I was telling them, like, no, you know, I'm not. I'm lying about marrying this person and everything. I was scared because it's somebody in a position of authority over me, and they kept the things they were saying, like that I would lose my citizenship, it was awful. And I didn't know at the time what they legally could do and couldn't do. And I'm gonna be real with you. What does it really matter? If this past year has taught us anything, it's that a lot of people will commit atrocities now, ask for forgiveness later. It was very scary. And one of the things they like to do is threaten you. I received all kinds of threats. that they really liked quote unquote pretty white girls like me. That I'd be raped, possibly even killed, that I would lose my home. Like, America. How the fuck do you lose America? And I think it's important for me to share this information now because I've always felt like that's something God had me go through for a reason. And I used to think the reason was to help other people, not me. I couldn't even conceive of the idea that I would need that experience for my own benefit. I learned a lot about how privileged we are when I lived in Guyana. I watched a public TV station in Guyana have somebody call in and say something bad about the president of Guyana. And within the hour, there were people with machine guns who took the station off air, and to my knowledge, it has never gone back. On air. Almost everything is done there through bribes. Large companies that do road work usually set aside at least $1 million in Guyanese for bribes. Because nothing is done without a bribe. My ex had to get his driver's license. That required a bribe. Very bright off the snow today. We had to bribe someone at the morgue during the time I lived in Guyana to put my ex's aunt in one of the drawers with somebody else. Because she passed and they didn't have enough room for the bodies. It's also how I learned about why it's so important the way we bury our dead here in the United States. Because when it floods in Guyana, you have to be very careful not to let the water touch you. Because they don't follow the same practices, and touching the water during flooding can make you very, very, very sick or even kill you. We've seen all of this happen before. In 1942. A lot of people said they didn't hide. They didn't even know they would ever need to hide. They couldn't imagine the atrocities that occurred. He went after his political opponents first, kind of like the judges. That disagree, that have been threatened and murdered. Because that's the thing. If you can be good enough with your words, they'll never even see it coming. I've got to do the after school stuff with my kids. But everybody stay safe out there, stay smart. Swim down. Swim down, guys. We all gotta survive this. To help each other. Love you guys.